Black Panther is the first ever film based on a comic book to be nominated for Best Picture, and the third most successful film of all time in domestic sales, as well as just a huge cultural lodestone that proved that a superhero movie with a primarily minority cast could be a huge success. There's no point in me telling you that it's good. That's an exercise in futility, but I think that it's more important to understand why it's good. The Black Panther had already been introduced previously in Captain America Civil War, though you need not have seen that film. The intro to this film gives you a good approximation of what's happened. After the death of his father, T'Challa inherits the powers and mantle of the Black Panther as well as the throne of Wakanda. However, he may be challenged by any other leader of the tribes of Wakanda for the throne. He is challenged by M'Baku, but defeats him, retaining his throne and powers. We also learn that, for a challenge, the Black Panther is stripped of his powers and given them back afterwards. This is all just pretty typical world-building stuff, but it works really well, and it just gives the whole nation of Wakanda a good feel. You get a real sense for their culture. We're introduced to T'Challa's family, most notably his sister Shuri, who is the weapons and technology genius for Wakanda. T'Challa also has to figure out what kind of king that he plans on being and decides to correct the wrongs of the past by bringing Ulysses Klaue to justice. However, after missing his chance to capture Klaue, he loses some support. Klaue is working with a much worse villain, however, Eric Killmonger, who plans to get to Wakanda and challenge T'Challa, usurp the throne, and lead Wakanda in a war against the rest of the world. The point of the conflict has to do with Wakandan exceptionalism. They're the most advanced nation on Earth in many ways, but do not share their secrets with the world. As a matter of fact, the world believes them to be a very poor nation of farmers that doesn't have much to contribute to the rest of the world anyway. The fact is, they're decades ahead of everyone in technology and medicine, and that's a closely guarded national secret. T'Challa struggles with this idea as his love interest, Nakia, points out how much good T'Challa can do with outreach and helping people all over the world, and Killmonger makes a lot of the same points, though losing his father as a child has made him grow cynical and violent. He dreams not of equality, but overthrowing. T'Challa rejects Killmonger's attitude outright, while having to admit at one point that Killmonger may be wrong-headed, but, at some point he came from a position of genuine truth. Most kings hear out their advisors and their detractors, and then they make their own decisions regardless, but T'Challa has to learn to actually follow through with the advice he's given. Many superhero films are said to be made by the villains, and in this case it's very true, as the double punch of Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger and Andy Serkis as Klaue make this an extremely interesting film, particularly with Killmonger being a sympathetic monster and Klaue just being a very fun character, due in no small part to Andy Serkis clearly having a ball with the role. The principal cast is great, the movie looks great, and really the only complaint anyone rationally could levy against it is, at times, the CGI is rather obvious, particularly late in the film. But by that point you're so enraptured by the characters and the conflicts that it's not a huge deal if a fight scene looks fake or if the rhinos look like they're from a video game. It does, however, show a flaw inherent to the creation of the film, really more with the studio. The already large budget probably should have been larger. It's clear that the preparation for the massive Avengers Infinity War was underway, and most of Disney's special effects budget was going to go there. And that leaves Black Panther with a few chinks in the armor to take you out of the film a few times, but luckily it makes up for it with a great script, great performances, and endearing characters. Black Panther joins the pantheon of the greatest Marvel movies simply by virtue of paying off on its risks, staying true to its central theme, and giving us memorable characters. Despite some special effects blunders, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. For much the same reason that I gave Kingsman: The Secret Service this score. This is a movie that is already considered hugely important and historically significant, and it only came out last year. Sadly, it's unlikely that a sequel can ever live up to all this, so when the next Black Panther movie is merely extremely good, people will probably wail and gnash their teeth about it being a disappointment. Oh well.